All right, so today we're going to be talking about, is culinary school still worth it? Maybe this video reaches someone that is thinking about going to culinary school. I'm going to give you my opinion. And I will probably tell you to read this article. I'm really not going to go over this article too much. Uh, I'm going to give you my opinion as far as like I've been in the business about 30 years. And I did go to culinary school. And I have strong opinions about this, but I also don't have a 100% answer of yes or no, and I'll give you my explanations on that. But let's just read the first paragraph just to kind of have a feel for what the article is. And if you feel like you want to read, this is the article. Food and Wine, is culinary school still worth it? For chefs weighed in. Everybody knows culinary schools are expensive, especially top private ones like Culinary Institute of America or Johnson and Wales. I actually went to one of them. Leave a comment below if you think you know which one of these I went to. An undergraduate year at CIA's Hyde Park, New York campus currently costs $33,850 in tuitions alone. At Johnson and Wales University in Providence, Rhode Island location, the cost is $37,896. Those tuitions are on par with average cost of private colleges, which is crazy because this is technically a trade school, even though I did get an actual degree, but the culinary school differentiator being that the starting salary of a line cook tops out at $19 per hour. If you're lucky. They said it too. I would have said that before that, but yeah, if you're lucky. And first of all, it also depends what you put in, what you have coming out of culinary school. If you have a little bit of experience, maybe you gathered some experience, maybe you had experience before culinary school, and then you went to culinary school, and then you're able, because not everybody starts off as a line cook. Culinary school should allow that, because if you went to culinary school, most likely you should have some experience. So you have culinary school, your experience, you'll start off as a line cook for the most part. If you don't, let's just say you went to culinary school, you just partied and didn't do anything and never really worked. I don't know. I'm just saying like the worst case scenario. You might graduate culinary school and you're going to be probably a prep person right off the bat, which is nothing wrong. But again, you're going to be dropped down because you don't have enough experience, which I really didn't see too much. I think most people got some experience while they were in culinary school. My opinion, and it's something that I believe that everyone should for something, and it's mostly because of the cost of culinary school, and because you're going to be making so little after, unless if you are able to pay it all out, unless if you got 100% scholarships or any of those reasons, and then it's a different story. But if you know you're going to be paying a lot of money, you're going to be coming out of school, you're going to be paying a certain amount a month just on your, education, your debt that you have gathered from your education, you got to make sure that you really want this, because it's going to be you're going to have to sacrifice. You're not going to be able to have stuff for a little while. And that sounds bad, but it's true, especially depending where you live. I mean, I was in New York, so New York's already expensive as it is. Got out of culinary school. I'll be honest, when I did my exit interview, it hurt. It hurt. When they told me how much I would be paying a month, it was brutal. I honestly didn't really know what I was gonna do. It was hurtful to kind of know that, this is more than a car payment. This is more than whatever. Now might be more than, it was a lot. Let's just say that. And it hurts. Like, you coming out of school, you're only making a certain amount of money. I mean, back then I was making a hell lot, like, minimum wage went up a lot more than before. So the pay wasn't that much, but of course everything else costs a lot less because, minimum wage wasn't so high. So it did go further, but it still don't go further enough for when you get this bill every month, because if you want to have a car, you want to have this, you want to have that, you really got to think what, you're going to spend your money on, because you're not going to have a lot of money coming like straight out of culinary school. Like other professions, there's opportunity to come out of those professions and be making good money, paying off your debt and not hurting so much. Culinary school, no, and it's pretty widely known. You're going to, unless if you already have a hookup when you get out, it's a different story. So that's something that you got to take into account. The other main thing I think that will really make the decision of going to culinary school or not is what is your situation? What are you looking to get out of culinary school once you finish culinary school? Like, what is your journey that you're looking to have? You're looking to have your own restaurant? You're looking to just work in the kitchen, be a cook? You're looking to maybe work in a company that you really admired and you want to work for them in the kitchen and be a chef there. All those things they're big factors. Not to say that you can't get there without culinary school, but culinary school, I won't say that it's not a benefit. It's a huge benefit in many ways as far as, it's basically an investment on knowledge that people assume that you have. And I say assume because some people get out of culinary school and it's like, did you go to culinary school? Like, what is wrong with you? And I'll talk to some people that say they went to the same culinary school that I went to, and I'm just like, I don't believe it. I just don't. There's no way you went to the same culinary school and you don't even know what simple terms. I ask you something and you are looking at me like you have no idea. But I guess if you did not do so well in culinary school or you did not pay attention, I don't know. But there is an expectation coming out of culinary school that might give you the benefit of a doubt going against someone that didn't go to culinary school and their resume is a certain way. Like you're, let's say, working at the same places. So you went to culinary school and you only worked in small time places, but you went to culinary schools. So you worked in the kitchen. You didn't go to culinary school and you worked in, just very basic places also, maybe some franchises or whatever. They are going to hire most likely the person that went to culinary school because, again, there is also some basic knowledge that you are taught in culinary school that you might be able to learn it, especially if you are, you start working in a Michelin star restaurant. But again, to get into those Michelin star restaurants, they usually want you to have a degree. It's just kind of what it is. It usually is. There's a lot of language used in the kitchen. There's a lot of, procedures and all that stuff that you can't necessarily, or you don't want to teach. There's a lot of teaching that goes on already in the kitchen, but there is like a bare minimum of stuff like terminology, procedures that you could just be able to say this person can do this and they should know if you went to culinary school. And if you didn't go to culinary school, not to say that you might not know it, but you don't have that benefit of a doubt of knowing. Even if you do know, you're the person that we know that was supposedly taught that they should know. So again, I believe it's all in the end goal. I still think culinary school is way, way overpriced. So I'm not saying that those are fair prices. They really is overpriced for the odds of you coming out and getting a comfortable job right out of culinary school that you're going to be able to pay those your debt. It's just what it is. All right, so I'm going to give a quick recap. So if you are a young person, like I said, or older person thinking about going to culinary school, I would tell you depends what the end goal is. What is the end goal? Culinary school gives you an advantage. I'm not going to say it doesn't. But do you necessarily need an advantage for your end goal? Or do you not necessarily need it as a requirement for your end goal? If you want to be, like I said, an executive chef owner, it's not required because it's your own business, but that you have a professional education of an industry that fails more than it succeeds. So whatever edge you can get in making yourself succeed, I would definitely take that. But with that being said, opening up a restaurant costs a lot of money. So going to culinary school costs a lot of money. So you got to put that into perspective. And again, you also want to know what kind of restaurant. Some restaurants you might be able to open a restaurant without necessarily not even needing culinary school. The more complex restaurants, like fine dining, usually they don't even want people that didn't go to culinary school. When I was in New York, that's what it was. I started off with a lot of these fine dining restaurants, a lot of famous chefs that you guys see on TV. I work with them. I even work with Iron Chefs before they were Iron Chefs, and I work with James award-winning chefs. I work with famous chefs. I ain't gonna say the name. I could if you guys want me to, but I'm not trying to throw out names. I'm not trying to do name dropping. But yes, I work with a lot of good chefs, and that was probably more experience, and I learned probably more those years than culinary school. But culinary school, without a doubt, gave me a strong base, and you have to kind of look at yourself. I would say it's not necessary, but it might be for you. Leave your comments below, subscribe if you want.